Hello fiber friends, and welcome to Vlogmas day, whatever this is. I put my microphone on my necklace because it's a big chunky necklace and I think it's gonna hold it in a good spot so that it doesn't get rubbed around, because I am hand carding rolags. And when I do a lot of movement, my clothing can rub on the mic because it's just me. I figure things out as I go. I'm not an audio engineering expert. We'll try this and hopefully it comes out okay. Last night I came in my studio. I was like, I need to make my advent calendar out of my wacky fabric, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to knit this sock, and and then I just had to stop. I was like, oh no, I'm doing the I need to thing, and that's what I promised myself I wasn't going to do. Because that gets overwhelming pretty fast. And then it's like everything becomes a chore and it's not fun anymore. And I didn't want to do that to myself. So I thought to myself, what do I actually want to do? And I was kind of looking around and I was looking at my new fleece that is all scoured and dry. And I was like, oh boy, there is still a fleece or two in the queue ahead of that one. And it wasn't a matter of I should or I need to process those. It was a matter of I had so much excitement for this other fleece. This one is, what are you? Targhee. It's Targhee from Ranching Traditions in Montana. And I was like, I had so much excitement for this fleece. What happened? Like, I washed it and I started processing some of it. I've used some of it in different projects, but the whole thing basically is sitting in a bag. And I had to kind of recall, like, where was I at? Just sort of mentally. And I realized there was a whole bunch of stuff that did get in the way. Big projects and big videos. And I thought, what do I really want to do? I really want to work through this fleece because it's a hand carding fleece. And I'm excited to do more hand carding because I like it. I started out my spinning journey, so to speak, with hand cards because I think a lot of people do. I think especially in the United States, we sort of have this, like, I don't know, sort of like a romanticized mental image of some, you know, old-timey lady with her hand cards. And hand cards certainly do fit that old-timey notion we have. What are my words? Wool combs work best on longer fleeces, and hand cards work best on shorter fleeces. There's something else we've had historically and currently in the United States that has led to this idea of the hand cards as well. And that's not just wool, but also cotton, because to spin cotton by hand, people would use a walking wheel or a grate wheel and cotton cards to do that. I have a video that I am working on talking about antique hand cards and what they looked like and some other things about that. So I won't go too deep into it here. I'm going to have a lot of questions. Let me know your carding questions. I do have a carding workshop that you can get through my Patreon as a digital purchase there, or through my online shop as a digital purchase there. And it's a workshop that I've taught in person at some local fiber festivals and stuff, and it's been a good workshop. People get a lot out of it. So if you really want to know all the things about the carding, go check that out, because I show you different techniques, different like flat cards, curved cards, different special effects you can do, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, why do I say that this is a carding fleece and the other one that I just washed is a combing fleece? Well, it has to do with the staple length. So let me show you what I mean. This is the fleece that I just washed. It is a Border Leicester Romney cross. I think I got that backwards. It matters if the mom or the dad was which breed. So it's a Romney Border Leicester cross. And this is the length of that staple. Those are long wools. Those are English long wools. And the one I'm working on now is a Targhee. It's a fine wool. It's incredibly soft. And this is the staple. So if you look at these two, they're lined up at the top of my fingers. And if you look at these, you're going to notice something about why this is the combing fleece and this is the carding fleece, right? If you look at hand cards, and I usually load mine across the middle, so that doesn't work, right? Because then I've got all this hanging down. So this is too long to load across the middle. If I load it at the top, which I don't want to do because then you get this weird little fold over thing happening, it's still too long. So could I hand card this if that was my only tool? Yes. I've done long wool with hand cards, but basically I end up using them more as if they were a comb, and I kind of, you know, sort of pop and flick them off and lay them down and sort of comb my way up where they're like dangling way down here, and kind of comb my way up just using the tines. And it's just not as effective as actual rolags from actual hand carding with a fleece that is a short staple to be hand carded. So here's what I got done last night, and plus the couple that I did just now. But isn't this a lovely, lovely basket of rolags? I really do like hand carding. They're so fluff. They're so floof. And long draw is just so much fun. It has, and that was another thing people were asking about the other day when I was spinning on the new to me Swedish wheel, because I was drafting like this. I was doing a one-handed draft, so I was drafting against the pull of the wheel. I can draft across my lap, and I have done that before. But usually once I get into a rhythm and I'm kind of in my flow, it does take a little bit of time with the fleece, and probably certainly not with a brand new wheel. I will do more like a rowing motion because the twisting is not ergonomic, and people mention that, and that's true. So I'll do more like a rowing motion where I pull it back like this, so I'm not twisting as much. And I do take breaks, and I try and do something with the other side of my body to kind of, you know, keep things good and balanced. Where was I? I did a couple other things yesterday, so let's talk about some holiday shenanigans real quick. Since I was just on the topic of the antique Swedish wheel, I finished the spin that I had going on there, and it's not washed yet, but I love the color, and just look at how consistent and beautiful this turned out. And this was all long draw, as I mentioned, and yeah, I'm going to leave it as a singles yarn because I'm thinking I'll use it for weaving. This is from a local mill. I need to remember who this was from. Oh my goodness. I will put it on the screen. Here's how it's turned out. So, so pretty. Right? Wouldn't this be beautiful woven? And this would be weft. I wouldn't use this for warp. Why? Because it's a little fuzzy, and that would make a sticky warp, and I would put more twist in it if I were to use it as warp. How do I plan to finish this? I will probably do soak and thwack, smack it. I want the surface of it to kind of shock a little bit, to kind of felt a little bit. That'll help it kind of have some durability, and it will also help, like, you don't want the fiber to change after it's in the cloth, because then you can get wonkiness in your cloth, unless you're going for a special effect, obviously. So that I don't have surprises when it is woven. So that if it's gonna have any weird changes, like I do it first, right? And then it's okay in the cloth. So I usually wash a bunch of yarn all at once. So this will go in my basket of needs to be finished, and then I'll just take a day when the sun's out and it's nice, which I guess sounds more like spring and summer, and today is literally solstice. Today is literally the shortest day of the year. So I won't be drying, you know, yarn in the sun today. Anyway, What else did I get up to yesterday? Dried some oranges. Aren't they pretty? So we're gonna hang these from the chandelier in the dining room as just like a little homemade, all natural decoration. And I'll probably pull out some hand spun to string them up with. Or maybe just thread, I don't know. Because then they look like they're floating. But they are kind of see-through. And so they're kind of like, I don't know, it's like a little stained glass sort of a thing. A little bit. Anyway, they're pretty. I think it's fun. We also roasted some chestnuts. And I love the taste of them, but the peeling is a bit of a chore. And I ended up being the only one doing the peeling, of course. So I'm like, do you get to eat the chestnuts if you weren't around to peel them? I don't know. I did find the Angora that was sent to me by Rarity Fibers. So if you are interested in spinning Angora from animals that are well loved and well cared for, check out Rarity Fibers. Here's their information. They have beautiful, beautiful bunnies. I will use this to create the yarn for Santa's beard. I do still feel like working on that stocking project. I don't know if it'll be done for Christmas, but I'm gonna get a little further on it. Maybe I'll spin that later today and I'll show you tomorrow. This is something else that I got done yesterday. I got this yarn in Peru. You can watch my video if you want to see all the details on that, but this was spun by someone else and dyed by me at the dye workshop. So this is all natural color. In the dye pots, they smush them and work them around and stuff. Just like what I was talking about a second ago with my singles yarn that I'm going to weave with, they only weave with 2-ply. And so if you dye and smoosh it all around, they're basically doing a bit of fulling on that yarn while it's in the dye pot. And then because you take it out and rewind it into a plying ball and then you ply it, it is spun tight enough that, you know, even if it was starting to stick and felt up to the strand next to it, I can kind of pull it off of there. So when you ply, you're smoothing down any of the fuzz that was raised up from the aggressive dye process, which means that you can use this for warp and it's not going to be like a sticky shed. It's going to stay clean and open right up. It's just so interesting how we all have the same problems and different cultures have figured out different ways of solving those problems. And I love that. So I still have this green one that is also a bit, you can see it's a little sticky, but that's, you know, that's how sticky it is. And it did come apart. I just had to go nice and slow and wind up my ball. So I did get that done and I felt happy getting that done because it's such a lovely color. And I can't wait to weave with these at some point. I have a purple one as well. Aren't these lovely? And then I have one more that's half plied on my Conti, which is the big plying spindle. And that one is white. I mean, it's white-ish. It's a natural sheep white, which is always a little bit more eggshell than like white. You know which fiber is the most white? Angora. Look at this next to my rolags that I held up a second ago. You were like, oh, they're so pretty and floofy and white. And if I put this next to these, can you see how suddenly my rolags turn yellow? They are white and they are clean. It's just that Angora rabbit has the purest of, like, there's no pigment to alter it at all. Did you know that white is actually a dominant color in sheep? That's why you can have a whole herd of white sheep and randomly a black sheep will pop up. And then you can be the black sheep of the family. Okay, let's open some Advent boxes. I pulled out 3 for today. We have 17, 18, and 19. And 18 is big and fairly heavy. Oh, I was gonna show you, I did organize my needles. This was in one of the Advent boxes from Twice Sheared Sheep yesterday. And it's these little snaps. And I can just pull it out by size. This is large. And then these are all my needles with this size cable. And then I can say, oh, here's extra large. And I can pull that one straight out. And these are the extra large ones. And then I've got my medium ones. Those are hats. And I've got my small ones. These are sleeves, maybe socks. So organized. I love it. I was excited to organize that and I followed through on that excitement. Let's take a look at number 17. Yes. More stitch markers, and these are absolutely freaking adorable. These are the cutest ones so far. I really liked the goats, but these are even cuter, if you can believe it. Those are so adorable. Oh my goodness. Cute. 18 is the big heavy one. I kind of want to open 19 first and then end with 18. I'm going to do that. I hope this doesn't spoil what's in there. I don't know. I can do what I want. This is my channel and this is my video and I can do what I want. What is this? It's a yarn cozy and it's so cute. Check that out. You can put it around your yarn so your yarn doesn't all fall apart. We need to test it out. So this is Santa's complexion yarn. And then you just put the cozy on it, just like that. And now it's not gonna make a mess or unravel. I can pull from the center. That's adorable. What a cool idea. I love that. Now we're time traveling. We're time travelers. Timey-wimey stuff to 18, which still isn't today or yesterday. But that's okay because we're just having fun. That's all we're doing. And it's okay. What is this? It says Twice Sheared Sheep Build a Sock Blocking Kit. I don't have a blocking kit. This has all been the most useful stuff because I don't have any of these things. It matches my shirt and it's sparkly. How cool is this? I'll just show you the instructions right now so you get an idea of what this is. You can mix and match the pieces so that it fits the size of the sock you need to block. This feels like Lego for knitters in a way. This is fun. If you're interested in any of the stuff that I have, you know, opened up and shown and possibly demoed, I do have an affiliate link for Twice Sheared Sheep. They have the cutest stuff. Some of the things like the I-cord maker, that's going to be available in January. If you'd like to support Chili and Eve that way, I do get a commission if you use that link to make any purchases. They also have pre-orders for next year's advent calendar, which is a long time to remember that you got an advent calendar, but it is up there just in case you're curious. Okay, that was all very exciting. I love every single one of those. What else are we doing today? I don't know what else we're doing today. I guess I was gonna card a few rolags and show you what that looks like. So let's just do a little carding because that's just what I'm enjoying right now. And I think I should just do more of what I enjoy. So I'm gonna card some rolags now. Enjoy.